Morning students, last class we learned the lesson Mother's Day half. We learned that Mrs. Pearson was neglected and she had taken the advice of the neighbor, that is Mrs. Fitzgerald. And what did she say? She said that she had Mrs. Fitzgerald, she said that she learned the changing the personality. So she was actually planning to change their personality. So that is Mrs. Fitzgerald's soul personality will be transferred to Mrs. Pearson, and Mrs. Pearson's personality will be shifted to Mrs. Fitzgerald. That is already happened. Now Mrs. Pearson is at whose house? Mrs. Fitzgerald's house, and but people cannot understand because inside the only the personality change, not the body. In outside appearance is looks like Mrs. Fitzgerald, but inside Mrs. Fitzgerald, whose personality is there? Mrs. Pearson is there. But at the same time, Mrs. Fitzgerald's personality is with in whose body? In Mrs. Pearson's body. That is why Mrs. Pearson was behaving very strangely. So who are all shocked to see Doris? Doris is the daughter. She was shocked to see the mother's behavior because she refused to iron her dress and she started teasing her boyfriend Charlie. So up to there I think we learned. Next who is coming inside the house? Cyril, that is the son of Mrs. Pearson entering, and even Doris was shocked to see her mother playing cards, smoking and drinking, isn't it? Now it is the entrance of Cyril. Briskly, hello mom, tea ready? Cyril briskly means very quickly. He entered the house and asked mother whether the tea is ready. Mrs. Pearson, no. Cyril, moving to the table annoyed. Why not? She was so irritated when Mrs. Pearson said that the tea is not ready. Then he asked the reason, why didn't you prepare tea? Mrs. Pearson coolly, I couldn't bother. I couldn't bother means I am not bothered to make tea. Cyril, feeling off color or something. Off color means not feeling well. Mother, are you not feeling well? That's why you did not prepare the tea. And Mrs. Pearson, never felt better in my life. She said that I never felt well in my life. Cyril, aggressively, what's the idea then? So what's the problem then? Mrs. Pearson, just a change. I wanted a change in my life. Cyril, briskly, well, snap out of it, ma, and get cracking. Get cracking means do it very quickly. Having too much time. I don't have that much of time. Please, ma'am, mom, get up and make tea for me. That's what who said? Cyril said. Cyril is about to go when Mrs. Pearson's voice checks him. So Cyril was about to leave. Who started speaking? Mrs. Pearson. You all know. Actually, only the body is Mrs. Pearson's. Whose personality is inside Mrs. Pearson's body? Mrs. Fitzgerald. So, and that's why Mrs. Pearson is behaving very boldly. Otherwise, Mrs. Pearson is very simple. Now, it's a personality of Mrs. Fitzgerald. Mrs. Pearson, I have plenty of time. Cyril, yes, but I haven't. Got a busy night tonight. Moving left to the door. Did you put my things out? He asked. Did you get my things out ready? Mrs. Pearson, coolly, I can't remember. I doubt it. I doubted whether I had done it. Cyril, moving to the table, protesting. Now look, when I asked you this morning, you promised. You said you would have to look through them first in case there was any mending, any repair work is there in my cloth or not. I asked you to do it. I asked you to check my clothes. This is what who said? Cyril said. He is asking her mother to, he is asking his mother to check all his dress. Mrs. Pearson, yes, well now I have decided I don't like mending. So she said that time you said that, but at present I am not in a mood of repairing things. Cyril, that's a nice way to talk. What would happen if we all talk like that? So Cyril is saying that if we all of us will speak like you, what will happen? Mrs. Pearson, you all do talk like that. If there is something at home you don't want to do, you don't do it. Any function is there, you don't do anything, you don't help me. That's what Mrs. Pearson is saying. If it is something at your work, you get the union to bar it. Now all that is happened is that I have joined the movement. I am also in the same movement. Same movement of who? The same movement of yours. Means I also joined like you people. Wanted to become like you people. Cyril staggered. Staggered means you're startled. I don't got this, Mom. What's going on? I did not understand actually what happened to you, ma'am. That's what Cyril is asking for Mrs. Pearson. Mrs. Pearson laconic. Laconic means looking very harsh, and laconic means very short. Laconic and sinister. Laconic and sinister means she looks short and looking harsh. Changes. Change. What is going on? Changes. Or who is saying changes is happening? Mrs. Pearson. A lot of changes are going on in this house. Now it is going to happen a lot of changes. That's what Mrs. Pearson said. Doris enters left. She is in the process of dressing and is now wearing a wrap. She looks pale and red-eyed. Now by the same moment when Mrs. Pearson is talking to her son, who also came in from inside, Doris, the daughter, came. She was actually the way on the halfway of dressing up, and her eyes were red because she was crying. Why was this Doris crying? Because Mrs. Pearson started making fun of her boyfriend. Mrs. Pearson, you look terrible. I wouldn't wear that face even for Charlie Spence. I wouldn't wear that face means I don't look like this. Means you have to be very fresh. Even for whom? Even for the Charlie Spence. Because Mrs. Pearson already teased Charlie, said that he is buck teethed and all, isn't it? So that means that Charlie is also not a good looking person. Even for such a good bad looking person, I won't make my faces like this. That's what who is saying. Mrs. Pearson is teasing Doris. Doris moving above the table angrily. Oh, shut up about Charlie Spence. And anyhow, I am not ready yet, just dressing. And if I do look terrible, it is your fault. You made me cry. So what did she say? That you don't have to tell, Mummy, you don't have to speak about Charlie. If I am looking bad also, it is because of you. That's what who is saying? Doris is saying whom? To Mrs. Pearson. Because you made me cry. That's why my face is like this way. Cyril, curious, why? What did she do? So the brother is very curious to know what actually happened. Doris, never you mind. You don't have to bother about it. Mrs. Pearson rising and preparing to move to kitchen. Have we any stout left? I can't remember. Cyril, stout is the drinks. Cyril, bottle or two, I think, but you don't want stout now. So the son knew that as his mother, Mrs. Pearson, never drinks. So why are you asking about the stout? Mrs. Pearson moving left slowly. I do. I like to. So Cyril, what for? Mrs. Pearson turning at the door. To drink? You clot. You clot means you stupid person. Don't you know that? The drinks is for what purpose? In order to drink. Clot means stupid person. Mrs. Pearson exits right. Instantly, Cyril and Doris are in a huddle. Huddle means they are very close together. At left center, rapidly whispering. Both of them, both the son and the daughter, they are whispering. They are talking very softly. They are saying what actually happened to our mother. Mother is always there to do all the work for them, in order to make tea and in order to repair their clothes and in order to press their iron their clothes. Everything is to be done by Mrs. Pearson. Now both the children found their mother is changed. Mother's attitude is changed. I hope as readers we all know that why it is happened. Mrs. Pearson since personality is transferred to Mrs. Fitzgerald, and now in the body of Mrs. Pearson, whose personality is there? Mrs. Fitzgerald's personality is there. Doris, has she been like that with you too? Doris is clearing her doubt. Cyril, yes. No tea ready, couldn't care less. Doris, well, I am glad it is both of us. I thought I had done something wrong. Doris is clearing whether Mrs. Pearson is behaving the same way with whom also? Doris also. Cyril also. Cyril said that yes, she was behaving very badly. She did not prepare tea for him. Cyril, so did I, but it is her, of course. Doris, she was smoking and playing cards when I came in. I couldn't believe my eyes. So daughter is saying that mother was playing cards, and she was smoking also. As they knew that their mother never plays card and she never smokes also. Cyril, I asked her if she was feeling off color, and she said that she wasn't. So Cyril said that he asked his mother whether mother is having some illness or not, and she replied that what she didn't have. Doris, well, she is suddenly all different, and that is what made me cry. It wasn't what she said, but the way she said it and the way she looked, because the behavior is completely changed. Pearson's attitude is very changed, body language is changed. That made whom sad? Doris sad. Cyril, having noticed that she looks just the same to me. The same way who behaved Mrs. Pearson behaved to whom also? Cyril also. Doris, she does not to me. She doesn't to me. Do you think she could have hit her head or something, and got, what is it, So Doris is again clearing whether who got a head injury or not, Mrs. Pearson. Cyril staggered. Do you mean she is balmy? Balmy means slightly crazy. She, no, you fathead. Fathead means stupid person. Concussion. Concussion means violent shock. She just might have. She must be having a violent shock. That's what who is saying? Doris is saying. Cyril, sounds far-fetched. Far-fetched means exaggerated. Doris, well, she has far-fetched. If you ask me, she suddenly begins to giggle. Who suddenly begins to giggle? Doris. Giggle means laugh. And now then, what is it? If she is going to be like this when dad comes home, she is actually imagining, Doris is imagining, if Mrs. Pearson is behaving the same way when who comes home? Their dad, Mr. Pearson comes home. What will happen? That's what who is thinking and laughing. Doris is thinking and laughing. Cyril beginning to guffaw. Guffaw means laughing loudly. I am staying in for that 2 front dress circles for the first house. So who also wanted to stay back there? Cyril also wanted to stay back at home in order to see the behavior of Mrs. Pearson in front of her husband. Then next, Mrs. Pearson enters right carrying a bottle of stout and a half-filled glass. Cyril and Doris tried to stop their guffawing and giggling, but they were not quick enough. Mrs. Pearson regards them with contempt. Contempt means not giving any attention, and care. Even though Mrs. Pearson had seen that when she entered with a glass filled with drinks and the bottle of the drinks, who were laughing? Cyril and Doris were laughing. She had seen them, but she did not pay any attention towards the children. Mrs. Pearson coldly, you two are always talking about being grown up. Why don't you both try for once to be your age? She moves to the settee and sits. She's just mother comes in, and what did she say? That you always, to the children, she said that both the children used to always say that they are grown up, and she said that at least for once you behave like a grown up children up to your age. That's what Mrs. Pearson said, and she goes and sat in the sofa. Cyril, can't we laugh now? So Cyril saying that is there any harm in laughing? Mrs. Pearson, yes. If it is funny, go on, tell me, make me laugh. I could do with it. So she said that yes, if something funny you are speaking, you can laugh. You please tell me also, share with me also. Doris, you never understand our jokes, mom. So again, they are treating mom differently. Doris is saying that you cannot understand what makes us laugh. Mrs. Pearson, I was yawning at your jokes before you were born, Doris. So she said that I was yawning, you all know yawning, isn't it? Your jokes before you were born, Doris. Doris almost tearful again. What's making you talk like this? What have we done? So Doris wanted to clear the doubt. What exactly happened to Mrs. Pearson? Mrs. Pearson promptly, nothing but come in, ask for something, go out again, then come back when there is nowhere else to go. This is the complaint who is having Mrs. Pearson. Mrs. Pearson is saying that you people, whenever you wanted to come inside the house, you come back home. You ask the things to be done by who? By Mrs. Pearson. They used to ask her to do all the work. They are not involving her, or they are not taking her outside. And Cyril aggressively, look, if you won't get tea ready, then I will find something to eat myself. So Cyril saying that you did not prepare tea for me, I will search something to eat. Mrs. Pearson, why not help yourself? She takes a sip of stout. She said that, okay, you carry on, you can have something to eat, you can search and find it. I am going to enjoy my drinks. Cyril, turning on his way to the kitchen, mind you, I think it is a bit thick. Bit thick means intolerable. A bit thick means this is intolerable. I cannot tolerate the behavior of you. To whom actually Cyril is speaking? Cyril is speaking to his mother. I have been working all day. Cyril is saying that I was working outside. I came back home, and mother, you refused to make tea for me. That's what the son is saying. Doris, same here. Even daughter also said that I am also an employee. I came back from my job. You are not bothered to help me. Mrs. Pearson, calmly, 8-hour day. So you are working only 8 hours, isn't it? That's what Mrs. Pearson said. Cyril, yes, 8 hours a day. And don't forget it. Mrs. Pearson, I have done my 8 hours. So if you people are doing 8 hours job outside, for me, I have already completed my 8 hours job at home. That is what who said? Mrs. Pearson. Cyril, that is different. Doris, of course it is. That household work is different. That's not a job. That's what who said? Cyril and Doris. Mrs. Pearson calmly, and she said it was. Now it isn't. 40-hour week for all now. Just watch it at the weekend when I have my 2 days off. So you people are having 8 hours work and 2 days in a week off, isn't it? Same day, same thing I will also do. I will also work only 40 hours in a week. 2 days I will also take off, holidays. Doris and Cyril exchange alarmed glances, very dangerous glances. Then they stare at Mrs. Pearson, who returns their look calmly. When they were staring towards Mrs. Pearson, she was very calm and quiet. Cyril must grab something to eat. Grab means capture. Looks as if I will need to keep my strength up. Cyril exits to the kitchen. So Cyril is in search of some snacks to eat. Doris, moving to the settee anxiously. Mommy, you don't mean you are not going to do anything on Saturday and Sunday? Doris wanted to clear that, because when Mrs. Pearson said that she will also take 2 days holidays, so Doris asked whether Mrs. Pearson will work on Saturday and Sunday. Mrs. Pearson, airily means carelessly. No, I wouldn't go that far. I might make a bed or two and do a bit of cooking as a favor, which means, of course, I will have to be asked very nicely and thanked for everything, and generally made a fuss of. Fuss of means overstretch. But any of you 40-hour a weekers who expect to be waited on hand and food on Saturday and Sunday with no thanks for it are in it for a nasty disappointment. Nasty means unpleasant. Might go off. Go off means stop working for the weekend perhaps. So she said that she will do something or the other if these two children will show some gratitude towards her. That means if they are asking her very politely, if they are conveying their gratitude towards her, then Mrs. Pearson will think about it whether she will work on Saturday and Sunday. If they are behaving very rudely like this, she will take her holidays on weekends also. That is the answer given by Mrs. Pearson. Doris, aghast. Aghast means terrified. Go off for the weekend. So that means you are planning to stop working on weekends. Mrs. Pearson, why not? I could do with a change. Stuck here day after day, week after week. If I don't need a change, who does? So she is saying that I also need a change. A week after week I am working. If I don't need a change, who else? Who else wanted? Isn't it? Did you ever think about your mothers who are working morning to evening. It is never paid and never conveyed any thanks. It is a thankless job. Housework is a thankless job, isn't it? So that is same case who is also facing Mrs. Pearson. Doris, but where would you go? Who would you go with? So Miss Doris is saying, if you are taking the holidays for weekends, where will you go? Who is going to come along with you? That's what Doris is saying. Mrs. Pearson, that is my business. You don't ask me where you should go. You don't ask me where you should go and who you should go with, do you? Did I ask you any day? So why are you asking? You don't have any right to ask me where I will go and who will be coming along with me. Doris, that is different. Mrs. Pearson, the only difference is that I am a lot older and a better able to look after myself. So it is you who should do the asking. So she said that I have to ask you because you are not matured. For as far as my case is concerned, I am old. I know how to look after myself. So I don't have to tell you that with whom I am moving around. Doris, did you fall or hit yourself with something? Doris is again feeling that who must have got a head injury? Mrs. Pearson. That's why she is behaving like this. Mrs. Pearson coldly, no, but I will hit you with something, girl, if you don't stop asking silly questions. So she is saying, who is angry? Mrs. Pearson is angry. Sorry. She said that if Doris will continue with the same type of stupid questions, she is going to beat her head. Doris, oh, this is awful. This is something fearful and strange. She begins to cry, not passionately. Mrs. Pearson coldly. Coldly means not at all bothered whether she had seen who is crying. Doris is crying. Stop blubbering. Blubbering means weeping. You are not a baby. If you are old enough to go out with Charlie Spencer, you are old enough to behave properly. Now stop it. What is the mother saying? That you are not a small child, so you don't have any right, you don't have to cry like a baby. So if you think you are mature enough to go out with your boyfriend, why should you cry? That's what who is saying, Mrs. Pearson, and stop it. By the time who enters? Mrs. Pearson's husband, that is George Pearson, enters left. He is about 50 years old, fundamentally decent but solemn. Solemn means very serious, self-important. Solemn is very serious, self-important, pompous. Pompous is very showy, and preferably he should be a heavy, slow-moving type. He notices Doris' tears. So the moment the George Pearson enters the house, he is very healthy person. And he had seen who is crying. Daughter is crying. George, hello, what is this? Can't be anything to cry about. Doris, through sobs, you will see. Come and see, Papa, what exactly happened. Doris runs out left with a sob or two on the way. George stares after her a moment, then looks at Mrs. Pearson. She just observed the daughter, the way she was crying and running, and then she turns his look towards the wife. Towards his wife. Excuse me. George, did she say you will see? Did Doris say that? I must see. Mrs. Pearson, yes. George, what did she mean? What does she mean by that? Mrs. Pearson, better ask her. I don't know. You ask your daughter. George looked slowly again at the door, then at Mrs. Pearson. Then he notices the stout that Mrs. Pearson raises for another sip. His eyes almost bulge because he never seen whom drinking, his wife drinking. So when he had seen his wife with a glass of drinks, he was shocked. George stout, Mrs. Pearson, yes. George amazed. What are you drinking stout for? Why are you drinking? Because I fancied some, I like some. At this time of day, so he is asking, is this the proper time to have a drink? Yes, what is wrong with it at this time of the day? So Mrs. Pearson is asking him, why can't I drink at this time of the day? George bewildered. Bewildered means confused. Nothing, I suppose, Annie, but I have never seen you do it before. Why he said, he is giving the clarification. Why did I ask you this? Because I had never seen you drinking at this time the drinks. Well, you are seeing me now. So with heavy distaste, yes, I don't like it. It doesn't look right. I am surprised at you. I don't like it the way you are drinking. I am surprised to see that. Well, that ought to be a nice change for you. That is a very good change for you. What do you mean? It must be some time since you were surprised at me, George, because even the husband is also not bothered about his wife. He never takes her outside. He goes out regularly to the club and all, but George never takes whom also along with him, his wife also along with him. This is the first time he made a comment for whom? For his wife. Otherwise, he was not at all bothered about his wife. That's why Mrs. Pearson is saying it is very nice to see you surprising towards me. Clear? That sentence is very nice. Then George, I don't like surprises. I am all for a steady going on. And you ought to know that by this time. By the way, you should know it, my behavior. We're quite a long time married. So that's why. By the way, I forgot to tell you this morning, I wouldn't want any tea. Special snooker match. Snooker is a game. Match night at the club tonight. And a bit of supper going. So, no tea. I don't need any tea from here because I am going to club because there is a match going on. I will have supper also there. Mrs. Pearson, that's all right. There isn't any. So, if you want tea also, I did not prepare any tea. George, astonished. You mean you did not get any ready? So, George is asking, that means you did not prepare any tea at all? Mrs. Pearson, yes, and a good thing too, as it is turned out. George aggrieved. That is all very well, but suppose I would wanted some. So, if I ask you to make some tea, what will you do? Mrs. Pearson, my goodness, listen to the man, annoyed because I don't get a tea for him that he doesn't even want. Ever tried that at the club? Did you ever go and say the same tone to the club people? The people in the club, did you say that? Can you order them? That's what she is asking. Tried what at the club? Going up the bar and telling them you don't want a glass of beer, but you are annoyed because they haven't already poured it out. So, if you will go and say that, when you reach the bar, before reaching, they did not pour the beer for him, can you show any anger towards the people in the bar? That's what she is asking. Try that on them. Otherwise, if you are not shown any anger towards them, try it and see what you get. George, I don't know what you are talking about. They would laugh at you even more than they do now. Now, Mrs. Pearson is telling whom? Her husband, that the people in the club always teases whom? Teases George Pearson. George indignantly means angrily, laugh at me? They don't laugh at me. Do you mean that the members of the club used to make fun of me? That's what George is asking. Mrs. Pearson, of course they do. You ought to have found that out by this time. Anybody else would have done. You are one of their standing jokes. Famous. They call you Pompey Ombe Pearson because they think you are so slow and pompous. They had given a പേര് പുതിയ പേര് കൂടെ അയാൾക്ക് കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. എന്താണ് പേര്? പോംബി ഓംബി പിയേഴ്സൺ. ബിക്കോസ് they think you are so slow and pompous. You are very showy person. That's why they had given a name also. ഒരു വട്ടപ്പേര് കൂടെ കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. George horrified, never. So George is saying that what you are speaking, the members of the club have given me another name. I will not believe. Mrs. Pearson, it is always beaten me why you should want to spend so much time at a place where they are always laughing at you behind your back and calling you names. So this is what Mrs. Pearson said. Mrs. Pearson said that the club members always makes fun of you and still you wanted to spend time there, leaving your wife at home night after night instead of going out with her who doesn't make you look a fool. So she is actually feeling so bad because she loves her husband very much, but still who is not bothered to take her along. George is not bothered to take her along with him where to the club. but the club members always makes fun of him. Still, he wanted to go and enjoy there alone. Cyril enters right with a glass of milk in one hand and a thick slice of cake in the other. George, almost dazed means in a confused state, turns to him appealingly. George, here Cyril, you have been with me to the club once or twice. Now he wanted to clarify the doubt whether the club members are really teasing whom? Teasing George Pearson. So he is asking his son, saying that the Cyril also accompanied whom? Accompanied his father once or twice to the club. Whether he knew it, the club members used to make fun of him. So they don't laugh at me and call me Pompey Ombe Pearson, do they? Cyril, embarrassed and hesitates angrily. Go on, tell me, do they? So he wanted to clarify. Cyril, well, yes, Dad, I am afraid they do. So Cyril also said that, yes, the members of the club used to make fun of you. George slowly looks from one to the other, staggered, and George slowly, well, I'll be damned. Damned means ruined. George exits left slowly, almost as if somebody had hit him over the head. എങ്ങനെയാണ് ജോർജ് കയറി അകത്തേക്ക് പോയത്? ആരോ തലയിലൊരു അടി അടിച്ചതുപോലെ. Cyril, after watching him go, turns indignantly to Mrs. Pearson. After seeing his father's sadness, felt so angry, Cyril felt so angry. He turned, very angrily, he turned his face towards his mother. Cyril, now you shouldn't have told him that, Mom. Ma'am, why did you tell Papa about the teasing and the names? That's not fair. You have hurt his feelings, mine too. So Cyril is saying that you hurt my father's feelings and mine also. Mrs. Pearson, sometimes it does people good to have their feelings hurt. Sorry. The truth ought not to hurt anybody for long. If your father didn't go to the club so often, perhaps they would have stopped laughing at him. So Mrs. Pearson said that, yes, at times it is better to hurt the other's feelings. If he stops going there regularly, they will not make fun of whom? They will not make fun of his father. Cyril gloomily, I doubt it. I don't agree with you. That's what Cyril said. Mrs. Pearson severely, possibly you do, but what I doubt is whether your opinion is worth having. What do you know? Nothing. You spend too much time and good money at Greyhound. Greyhound is large thin dogs used in races. Horse race ne pole dogs in the race ഉണ്ട്. ആ ഡോഗ്സിൻ്റെ റേസിന് വേണ്ടി ഒരുപാട് പൈസ ആര് സ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്യും? Cyril spend ചെയ്യും. So mother is saying that you don't know anything about the family because you spend a lot of time and money at Greyhound races and dirt tracks and ice shows. He always roams around outside, so you don't know anything about it. Cyril sulkily means angrily. Well, what if I do? I have got to enjoy myself somehow, haven't I? So she said that if I am doing like that, what is your problem? So I have to enjoy my life. Mrs. Pearson, I wouldn't mind so much if you were really enjoying yourself. But are you? And where is it getting you? There is a sharp, hurried knocking heard of left. So Mrs. Pearson ചോദിക്കുകയാണ്, നീ ശരിക്കും അത് എൻജോയ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടോ? നിന്നെ എവിടേക്കാണ് ഈ ഗെയിമൊക്കെ കൂട്ടിക്കൊണ്ട് പോകുന്നത്? Then suddenly she heard somebody was knocking the door. Cyril, might be for me. I will see. Cyril hurries out left. In a moment, he re-enters, closing the door behind him. It is that silly old bag. Old bag means unpleasant woman from next door, Mrs. Fitzgerald. You don't want her here, do you? You don't want her here. Shall I ask her to go away? That's what who said? Cyril said. Actually, Mrs. Fitzgerald is coming to whose house? Mrs. Pearson's house. Mrs. Pearson sharply, sorry, I do. Ask her to come in. And don't call her a silly old bag either. You don't call her unpleasant woman. She's a very nice woman with a lot more sense than you will ever have. നിങ്ങൾ എല്ലാവരെയും കാലം ബുദ്ധി അവർക്കുണ്ട്. Cyril exits left. Mrs. Pearson finishes her stout, smacking her lips. Smacking means licking. And lips. Cyril re-enters left, ushering Mrs. Fitzgerald. Then welcoming Mrs. Fitzgerald, who hesitates in the doorway. Come in, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Mrs. Fitzgerald moving to left anxiously. I just wondered if everything is all right. So Mrs. Fitzgerald is asking whether everything is all right at home, because you all know why such question Mrs. Fitzgerald asks, because only the body is Mrs. Fitzgerald, inside whose personality is there? Mrs. Pearson's personality is there. She is worried about her family. Miss Cyril, no, it is not. Mrs. Pearson sharply, of course it is. You be quiet. Cyril indignantly and loudly, angrily. Why should I be quiet? Mrs. Pearson shouting, because if I tell you to, you silly spoiled young pecan, you be quiet. Who is saying? Mrs. Pearson. Cyril. Mrs. Pearson. So, Mrs. Fitzgerald protesting nervously. Oh no, surely. Mrs. Fitzgerald is worried because Mrs. Pearson is started fighting with whom? With Cyril. Mrs. Pearson. Now, Mrs. Fitzgerald, just let me manage my family in my own way, please. Mrs. Fitzgerald. Yes, but Cyril. Cyril sulkily and glowering. Glowering means looking angrily. Mr. Cyril Pearson, to you. Please, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Cyril stalks off into the kitchen. Stalks off means walks off in anger. Mrs. Fitzgerald. Moving to the city, whispering, oh dear, what's happening? Mrs. Fitzgerald is asking Mrs. Pearson exactly what is happening here at my home. Mrs. Pearson, nothing much, just putting them in their places. And that's all. Doing what you ought to have done long since. You are supposed to make them understand the importance of yourself. You are not a servant, but you never did. Now I am making them understand. Mrs. Fitzgerald. Is George home? She sits beside Mrs. Pearson on the settee. Mrs. Pearson. Yes, I have been telling him what they think of him at the club. Mrs. Pearson told Mrs. Fitzgerald that she told George about his name and how the people used to make fun of him at club. Mrs. Fitzgerald. Well, they think a lot of him, don't they? Mrs. Pearson. No, they don't. And how he knows it? Nervously, oh dear, I wish you hadn't, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Now, Mrs. Fitzgerald is calling whom? Mrs. Pearson, Mrs. Fitzgerald. You all know, because inside Mrs. Fitzgerald, whose personality is there? Mrs. Pearson's. Mrs. Pearson, nonsense. Don't call them all, doing them all a world of good, and they will be eating out of your hand soon. You will see. Mrs. Fitzgerald. I don't think I want them eating out of my hand, Mrs. Pearson. Well, whatever you want, they will be doing it. All three of them. Mark my words, Mrs. Pearson. George enters left gloomily, and he is unpleasantly surprised when he sees the visitor. He moves to the armchair left, sits down heavily and gloomily lights up his pipe. Then he looks from Mrs. Pearson to Mrs. Fitzgerald, who is regarding him anxiously. So when Mrs. Pearson and Mrs. Fitzgerald were sitting, then who enters? George enters, and he was observing both of them. And George just looked in for a minute, I suppose, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Mrs. Fitzgerald, who doesn't know what she is saying. Well, yes, I suppose so, George. August, George? Oh, I am sorry, Mrs. Fitzgerald. What does it matter? Your name is George, isn't it? Who do you think you are, Duke of Edinburgh? Because Mrs. Fitzgerald never called George by his name. So, Mrs. Pearson is asking, what's the problem if she is calling you George? You are not what? Duke of Edinburgh. George angrily. What is it got to do with it? Just tell me that. And isn't it bad enough without her calling me George? No tea. Ombi Pearson, and poor Doris has been crying her eyes out upstairs. Yes, crying her eyes out. Who is also crying? George is saying that you are speaking so many things against me, and you said that even so you scolded our daughter also. That is Doris also crying. So that is it good? That's what who is complaining? George is complaining. So you please read the lesson. If you have any doubt, you can contact me. Thank you.